Back here on the farm in Iowa, I want to move for a moment to the capital of the Hawkeye State. As earlier in the day today, I spoke with the Republican governor of the state, Kim Reynolds, in Des Moines, and we talked about a lot of things, about the impact of the recent trade deals, some optimism over Iowa's economy that she has going forward. So here it is, the governor of Iowa. Governor, thank you very much for having us. A beautiful state capital.
Oh, thank you, and welcome to the great state of Iowa, and it's an honor to host you in our beautiful Capitol building.
A lot of energy around this state at this time of year. When we talk to you, though, I think we focus on broader issues. On our show, we're talking about trade with China all the time. You were in Washington when the president signed phase 1 of the trade agreement. Are things starting to change in this state for the farming community?
You know, it really is, and as I talk to farmers all across the state of Iowa, kind of the common theme is it's a new year and a new beginning, and there's some optimism back in the industry again. So we've had some incredible wins when you think about Japan, when you think about the phase 1 trade deal with China, and then finally the signing of USMCA. That's all really positive news.
Even more important to some farmers and some people in the state, USMCA. On China, I'm sure you've been following the news with the coronavirus out of China, and I'm wondering if there's any concern, or do you have any concern about whether or not China can meet the commitments that they've made? It's a lot of money that they've committed to buying in agriculture in the United States, in particular here in Iowa.
Well, we'll watch that, as I'm sure they are at the federal level and with the administration. But the fact of the matter is that we got phase 1 done and signed, and they're talking $40 to $50 billion of additional agricultural products purchased. That's big news. Even if it's half of that, that's a step in the right direction and brings a lot of our farmers back into play. So we'll watch it. There's an enforcement mechanism that's tied into that as well. So they'll continue to monitor that.
Why was USMCA more important to some people here?
Well, that's our 1 and 2 trade partners, and so it's really critical. And I think it's actually an example of a trade agreement that we can use with other countries as well. So not only for our farmers, but for manufacturers, small businesses, and families all across this state, really important. And so we're really happy that that's finally done, and it brings predictability and stability back to the markets, which is also a really good sign for our farmers. I mean, that's key, right?
Exactly. The removal of uncertainty, something analysts talk to us about all the time. Let me talk to you about jobs for a minute or two. The unemployment rate is very impressive, obviously. If you look at it at 2.7%, I believe. I mean, you can't get much lower than that. Sometimes that creates problems. It's tough to find the right workers for the right jobs. I mean, what type of issues are you dealing with on that front? Because I hear that from a lot of different businesses and state leaders.
Oh, every state is dealing with it. That's all we talk about when we get together as governors, because we have an economy that is growing. We have more Iowans working than any other time in our state history. We've had 8 straight quarters of wage growth, which is really good. We're cutting taxes and increasing employment. So that's really our biggest barrier to continued economic growth. And when I talk to employers all across the state, that's what they indicate to me. So we've been very focused on that for the last 3 years. Our Future Ready Iowa initiative is our crown initiative for dealing with so
that's getting
employment.
People ready for jobs,
it is.
trained.
It's a funding source. Last dollar scholars is what we call it, and it helps them get the skills to fill the high demand jobs that are available in our state.
A quick word on 2020. That's why we're all here. That's why this rush of media has come into your state after all. It'll be interesting to watch, of course, what happens with the Democrats on Monday, which we've been talking about. But what about the fall? Is Iowa still a swing state in presidential elections? Do you still look at it that way?
Well, right now we are. We have a history of being a swing state, very purple. But right now, I think President Trump is doing really well. Our economy is good. We have more Iowans working than any other time in our state history, and so we're moving in the right direction, and we're mirroring the policies that they're passing at the federal level, at the state level. So it's hard to, I think, as Iowans talk about stopping and reversing course when the future looks so well. And I talk a lot about building on the foundation that we put in place, really mimicking the policies that are being put in place at the federal level with the Trump administration. So right now he looks good. I anticipate that continuing, and I think we can continue to make America great and keep Iowa moving.
Governor Reynolds, thank you. Thank you for having us into the state capitol. We appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.